Stop what you're doing right now and watch today's video, especially if you're thinking of making a move to the city of Welland here in the Niagara region. Because in today's video, we're going to take you into a deep dive of map tour of the city of Welland and share with you all there is to know about Welland. So at the end of today's video, you're going to be like a local Wellander, knowing the city of Welland, maybe not at the back of your hand like I do, but you're going to know it pretty darn well. I'm Scott White. Along with my wife, Ellen, we make up the Living in Niagara with Ellen and Scott team at Rebel Realty. And we're so thankful that you decided to stop by and check us out and see what we're all about. Hopefully you will enjoy the video and you'll hit that like button, subscribe, even turn on your notifications to be the first ones to hear of anything happening here in the Niagara region, where to go, what to do, places to eat, the cities of Welland, whether it be Welland, not the cities of Welland, but the cities of Niagara region, whether it be Welland or Port Colborne, St. Catharines, Thorold, Fort Erie, Niagara Falls, Niagara on the Lake, Grimsby, even Waynfleet. If you know where that is on the map, you have to come back to a tour of that map tour come Waynfleet in a future video. Ellen and I get calls all the time from people just like yourself who are thinking, contemplating, and making a move here into the Niagara region, specifically today in Welland. A lot of our clients are retiring or moving to retirement age. They're empty nesters and they're looking for a quieter way of life, a slower pace in wine country. We just had a couple stop by our house today. We sold something on Facebook Marketplace and they came by and they went to buy this item. And as soon as she walks out of her car, she looks around and stops and says, turns to her husband and says, "Oh, it's so quiet here. It's so quiet." She said it over and over again. And that's Welland and the Niagara region. So if that happens to be you, if you're thinking of making such a move in the next 9 days or even 9 months, please do not hesitate to give us a call. Ellen and I will be happy to help you make this transition smooth and stress-free. You can call us, text us, email us. You can even do the QR code here and set up a calendar appointment where we can meet in Zoom, which is what we like to do for our first meeting, especially with people who are coming from out of the area, like maybe yourself. So with no further ado, well, before we get into the map, I do have to take notice of where I am today. I am in my backyard. The heat of this summer has dissipated the past day or so, and I thought I'd take great opportunity of this day and this weather and just come out here and do a map tour from my backyard. And like always, if you stay to the very end of today's video, I'll be happy to share with you today's local gem. A great little spot to grab yourself a fantastic taco, one of the best taco joints, Mexican food joints in all of the Niagara region, definitely here in Welland. People from all over Welland know of this place, even though it isn't a big establishment. So you're going to want to stick around to the very end to find out what this hidden gem is, because you'll most likely pass it by if you didn't know. And I want to help you become a Wellander today. I want you to know the city of Welland like we do living here. Share with you all the secrets, all the innuendos of this great little city. So let's jump into the map. We'll take a map tour. Here we see Welland, right here highlighted on our Google Maps here. And you can see we're situated in the rest of the Niagara region. And it is situated almost right in the middle of the Niagara region, which is great news. It is because you can get around here in the Niagara region. 15 to 20 minutes can get you to almost any city here in the Niagara region. For example, this little blue dot, by the way, is where we are right this moment. No, not there. That picture isn't correct. That little blue dot is our home at Chippewa Park area. So from here to Grimsby, the far northwest corner of the Niagara region, takes us about 40 to 45 minutes travel time. And I go there every Thursday throughout the winter months from September to June to play floor hockey with a bunch of my friends and guys from Grimsby. And that's during the winter months. Not that far away is Grimsby, and that's the furthest point away from the city of Welland here in the Niagara region. I have a daughter living here in Wainfleet, which is bringing us to the southwest quadrant of the Niagara region, and that takes me about 10-15 minutes to get to here. If you want to get over to Fort Erie or to the border, 30 minutes from Welland. Up to the far northeast corner of the Niagara region is the Niagara on the Lake, and that's, again, about the same distance for Grimsby. It's going to take about 30 minutes. Actually, our head office, the office that Ellen and I have our names registered in, is Niagara on the Lake, and it takes us about 35-40 minutes to go from home to our office there in Niagara on the Lake. And what makes this really special is because every town and city outside of Welland is about 15-20 minutes away, making Welland really central, and also gives us the opportunity to take advantage of what the other cities have to offer. For example, St. Catharines, right? Did a video on St. Catharines a couple of weeks ago. Take a look at those videos if you want to learn more about St. Catharines. But from Welland to Port Dalhousie here, which is a great beach, great vibe, lovely little area. One of my favorite places in all of the Niagara region is Port Dalhousie. It's about 25 minutes from where we live here in Welland to Port Dalhousie. St. Catharines also has the Meridian Center, where major sports, we have the Niagara Ice Dogs or the Niagara River Lions, which is the Canadian basketball team. The Ice Dogs are our Canadian professional hockey team that plays in the Meridian Center. We also have concerts at the Meridian Center. I think Brian Adams is going to be here in October. Jelly Roll was just here in July. So we do have some world-class entertainment and activities and events that happen in St. Catharines. If you like Broadway production, I'm sorry, let me go back. St. Catharines, as I said, about 15 minutes, depending on where you are in Welland, where you're going in St. Catharines. Broadway productions, great shows. Niagara on the Lake, the Shaw Festival, and you can't beat the Shaw Festival, 35-40 minutes from Welland. And hey, if you want some really great Broadway productions, not off-way productions like Niagara on the Lake, pop over here to Buffalo. Shays Stadium, Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres, NHL, NFL, sports activities, 40 minutes at the top from Welland to Buffalo. And of course, Niagara Falls right here. Again, 15-20 minutes from Welland can get you into all the activities of Niagara Falls, great nightlife, the casinos and the concerts and shows that they have there. They have great restaurants like Mick and Angelo's, an Italian joint, great food there. There's the Flying Saucer on Lundy's Lane. It's a fun little restaurant. Actually looks like a flying saucer. We like to take the grandkids there because it's a fun place to go. We have the Skyline restaurant. Go up the Skyline, you can see all of the Niagara region. Again, we did some videos from there in our Niagara tour. And then there's Rainforest Cafe down in Niagara Falls as well, our son's favorite restaurant. We go there every year for his birthday. So if you're a foodie, Niagara Falls is a great place to go. And again, it's only 15-20 minutes from Welland. If you want a more peaceful, quieter way, jump down here from Welland into Port Colborne. Depending on where you are, if you're down here in Dane City, you're only about 5 minutes from Port Colborne. If you're where we are, about 10 minutes to Port Colborne. What does Port Colborne have to offer? Well, first place, the birthplace of Scott White. I can take you there and show you. There's no plaque there, mind you, but I can show you where I grew up, the home I went into, the place where I swam in the canal, where we played baseball, Vimy School, which is no longer there. It's some homes. But that's the school that I went to, McKay, Port Colborne High School. Those are the places we'll have the tour when we go to the Port Colborne videos that I'll be doing down the road. Well, why am I showing it to you now? Because of these. Let me show you just a second. I got to go into this map here and show you 10 minutes from Welland, 15 minutes from Welland, depending where you are, you can hit Nickel Beach. Look at the size of that sandy beach. We had a client come from Mexico. He bought some property in Port Colborne on Nickel Street. He's going to be building some condos there. We're going to be doing pre-sales. We can do that right now. So if you want some pre-sale condos in Port Colborne, I can set you up on that. He also has a development in Tulum, Mexico. If you want to get a nice vacation property in Mexico, in Tulum, with its own cenotes on the land, give me a call. Ellen and I can help you with that as well. But when he came to Port Colborne the first time about a year ago, actually back October, November, so it wasn't hot out. It was kind of cool. I will never forget taking him and his mother on a little tour and bringing him to Nickel Beach. As we're walking down the little roadway towards Nickel Beach, and we hit the beach, his mother's mouth literally dropped to the ground. As she was walking along, it was so far to the ground, she was filling up with sand in her mouth because she was so shocked and perplexed that we had this beautiful ocean-like beach right here in Port Colborne, and that's Nickel Beach. And we'll talk more about Nickel Beach when we do our Port Colborne tour, but that's 10-15 minutes away from us living in Welland. And that's not the only beach that we have. Lake Erie is plastered with beaches all along the coast. We have Point Abano Beach. We have Camelot Beach, Morgan's Point, Long Beach, Cedar Bay. There's Cedar Bay's right here. Go along here, Echo Beach. And along here, Shirkston Shores. If you're not around the area, you've never heard of Shirkston Shores, it is a great beach, beautiful, an aquarium there, a great little resort area. Bay Beach and towards Fort Erie. Crystal Beach, of course, famous for its old amusement park when I was a kid. Another story for another time. But these are just some of the beaches that are 15, 20 minutes from us living in Welland. So if you love the beaches, Welland may not be right on the beach, but it's really close by. Not only does Welland have the beaches, we have 3 different waterways that makes Welland a very, very unique city to live in. We have the functional or operational canal, this black line that almost cuts Welland in half, and which is interesting as we look at that. As we look to the east of the operational canal, we see a lot of green space that Welland has. Country areas, Cook's Mills, what this area is called, you can see that right here. And if you want country properties, you want homes outside of the city, but really close proximity, you can get houses here in around $600,000-$700,000 with property of 1 or 2 acres, going up to $1.2 million, $1.3 million, depending on how much property and the quality of the house and where exactly it is. But this is one quadrant of Welland that is not very well developed. As you can see, very little development in this area, a lot of green space. One of the great things that this city has is undeveloped areas and spots, and that is east of the operational canal. But you know what? We're gonna take a little break and talk about this operational canal and crossing this canal, because this is a significant aspect of living in Welland and Port Colborne, St. Catharines and Thorold, is this Welland Canal. If you're going to, from these towns and cities, if you're going to go east in Niagara, you're going to cross this canal, which may not seem like a big issue now, but when you're living here, you'll discover that it can be a significant issue, can add significant time to your commute to wherever you're going because of the ships passing through the operational canal. And the canal operates from about March to November. So between this period of time, there's always this expectation that if you're going to cross at one of the bridge points, across the canal, you might get stopped by a ship. The bridge may go up, whether it's a lift bridge or the jackknife bridge in Port Colborne, you'll be stopped by that bridge, unable to proceed until that ship passes through. And that could take anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes of your time. Now, the positive thing is, along the Welland Canal, we have 3 tunnels. And these are really important to know when you're traveling in the Niagara region where these tunnels are. So let's take a little break. Along here on the south end of Welland is Town Line Road, and we have right here the Town Line Road tunnel on highway number 58. It's a tunnel that goes underneath the canal, so you don't ever have to worry about a ship passing through at that stage. The other tunnel that we have is also right here in Welland, which is one of the great things about living in Welland, is that we have 2 tunnels. So we don't ever really have to worry about traffic getting stopped at a bridge because we can always go underneath with a tunnel. This is the Main Street Bridge right here, leaving Main Street on Welland, going out to the Highway 140 that can take you to Port Colborne, or the 27 taking you over to Niagara Falls. There's another tunnel a little bit further north in St. Catharines along Highway 58. Sorry, the other one was Town Line Road, Highway 58A. This is actually Highway 58, or Thorold Stone Road, as you can see right here. And this is the other tunnel that we have that goes underneath the Welland Canal. So if you're traveling east to west, west to east, you always have to take into consideration the time you may get hit by a bridge, or not hit, but stopped by a bridge. So if you're pressed for time, you're going to be looking at these tunnels. There are numerous bridges that you can cross here and here. Of course, along the QEW, or the Queen Elizabeth Way, we have the Garden City Expressway, and that's right here. This is in St. Catharines, mind you, and that goes over the canal, which is a fun little trip to do, so you can see over the canal and see some ships coming through. There's another bridge here, but as we go down to Welland, we have no bridges that cross the active canal in Welland, just the one in Fun Hill on Highway 20. And Port Colborne has 3 bridges, actually, in that little small city, 3 lift or jackknife bridges in Port Colborne. Which brings me to another really interesting thing. I'm going to pop over here and go to the Seaway map. This is a really cool map that you can get on the internet. The Seaway, St. Lawrence Seaway, that runs the Welland Canal, puts out this map. And what's really interesting is you can see these are all of the ships that are on the Seaway right this moment. If you zoom in the other way, we can come here to the Welland Canal and see what ships are on the Welland Canal. The purple dots are pleasure crafts, personal pleasure crafts, speedboats, sailboats, whatever they happen to be. If you own one and you register it with the Seaway, that would be on there. And because you can travel the Welland Canal with a pleasure craft, but you would have to register it with the Seaway, St. Lawrence Seaway, for them to know that. And so these purple boats have been registered with the St. Lawrence Seaway. These green boats, if you click on it, you can see the name of it. I can't say that. It's probably French or some other, by Commute. It's going into Hamilton. This one is a G3 Marquis going to Thunder Bay, and it's traveling at 6.3 knots. We have this ship here, the Juno, popular ship that's going to pass through the canal. You're going to see that quite often. And the Lindsay Lenore. Oh, another one coming in, the Federal Kushiro. Could be a Japanese ship traveling at 7.5 knots, coming in on Lake Erie. And it's, I don't know what the KMTR with that destination is for. So these are all the ships that are currently in the Seaway Mall, St. Lawrence Seaway, and the Welland Canal. So if you're going to be traveling and worried about getting caught at a bridge, you can stop off at this map, take a look at where the ships are, and plan your trip accordingly, so you're not going to get stopped by a bridge unless you want to have that view. Because as I said before in other videos, I grew up in this area. I used to swim in Port Colborne, right in the active canal. Ships would go past as we were swimming in it, and I never get tired of seeing these ships going through on the Welland Canal. The other waterway we have here in the Welland is the Recreational Canal. So here we are on the Recreational Canal, and it breaks the city up into different quadrants. We have this quadrant here. Actually, I'll zoom in, and this area right here is really referred to as the east side of Welland. Which is made up of the downtown core about here, and Crowland, which is about here. And the nice thing about this area here is this area right here between the canals, the best way to describe it is it's a mishmash of homes. We can find homes here. We talked about homes in around this area here or over here, along this area here, even up to here, homes that are running under $500,000. Homes over here, along here, along the canal. We have a lot of newer subdivisions in this area here, especially in this area here. As you can see, that gray space is showing newer homes being built. We can be running into the $1 million homes in this area. So a real mismatch of values of homes. I'd also say when you're looking at this area, there are some sought after areas. This part of Southworth, my mom and dad used to live in this part of Southworth. Again, homes running $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. This area here, this is where Stelco used to be. There's a brand new factory that was built here. Forgive me, it's a different name and I forget the name, but no sooner had it been built, it was shut down. So it was never, the manufacturers never took ownership of or made it a functional factory. Brand new, it looks fantastic, but it's not being used. It is being redone and worked at. They're looking at building here, right across the street here. They are building new townhouse condos all in this area here. So they are running some new construction in this area, but you want to be careful. Downtown core, there's some areas you want to stay away from. Streets over here, you want to be careful of as well. Steel Street, Iron Street. So if you're looking at moving into Welland or any area of Niagara, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, make sure that you get yourself a professional realtor who knows the area like the back of their hands, so that you can stay away from the undesirable areas and get into the better areas of the city of Welland. There's just a couple of pockets here in Welland that are really, I would call it undesirable, that I would not want to live in, nor would I want to put my daughter or children there. My daughter actually lives just south of Burger Street in this area here. It can border some rougher areas. I have a good friend who lives on Burger Street. Again, that's not a street that, in parts of it, not the best areas, but in other parts, it's okay. So once again, if you're looking at moving to Welland, please do not hesitate to give Ellen and I a call. We'll help you find the exact place that meets all of the desires and wishes that you want, and house pricing, the affordability, how much the houses cost, the space that you want, whatever it is. Even in the east side of Welland, we'll put you up to the best places that you can find that you'll be totally happy and satisfied with. Why did I talk about East End? Because of the recreational canal. I've talked about that in other videos. The international flat water, where they train rowers, rowing and kayaking, canoeing all along here. Right next to the flat water, international flat waters, is Empire Sports Complex right here. We'll zoom in a bit more and you can see it is a great outdoor sports complex. Has some basketball nets, volleyball courts, beach volleyball, tennis, and of course, pickleball. And who doesn't love pickleball, right? Okay, I'm a little bit a fanatic of pickleball. It's gotten to be my favorite sport right now. So if you move to Welland, I can introduce you to all of the pickleball spots here to play in all of the Niagara region. I'll bring you out myself, introduce you to all the people here. Whatever level you play in, I can help you get set up into playing in the right level for you, even if you're a beginner. Oh, and let's go up here to the recreational canal a bit here and zoom in here to the Merritt Park Amphitheater. I've talked about it in other videos. This is Merritt Park. Don't confuse Merritt Park with Merritt Island. There is a park on Merritt Island. This area is called Merritt Park. So I know a lot of people, when they first move into Welland, they can get confused. And if they hear about the Merritt Park Amphitheater, that's where Welland hosts and holds its concerts on the Canal, free concert series throughout the summer. It's also where we hold the Worship on the Water. And that is a really unique experience, especially if you like worship music. a number of different churches in the area get together and they organize and prepare a time of great worship music. A really good band plays, and these concrete stadiums are full. People bring their launchers, sitting along the grass here. We actually have portable stadium seating that goes back here, and they are all full as people gather together at this venue and spend some time in great worship music. And that happens usually in July every summer. The nice thing throughout the summer also, as I said, Welland holds different free concerts with bands from all over the area in Ontario, cover bands, jazz bands, etc. And we'll have people coming in with their kayaks, their canoes, their paddleboards, and they just kind of sit around here and listen to the music. That's amphitheater just south of the bridges here in Welland, crossing the Recreational Canal right near the downtown core. If we go a little bit north, this is where we find Merritt Island. Talked about that in a video. Actually, if you look at our pros and cons video of living in Welland, I did a lot of video walking along this great walk path in Merritt Island Park. See, Merritt Island Park, not to be confused with Merritt Park. Don't ask me. I didn't research it. I don't know why they use such similar names, but they did. Merritt is a significant name of Welland. So that's Merritt Island, which goes between the Welland River and the Welland Canal. And I always think this is really cool. Right here, the Welland River actually goes underneath the Welland Canal. And remember, this part of the canal used to be an operational part of the canal. Ships used to cross this canal going over the Niagara River. Doesn't anymore, but I always think that's kind of a cool thing. So moving on from the east side of the canal, out of this little island area, which we call the east side, let's go over here to the west side and look at the Chippewa Park, Prince Charles, Coyle Creek area in the southwest quadrant of Welland. And oh, just a second, guys, I just now realized what time it is. I'm sorry, I've been a little bit long-winded today, telling stories, gotten really into it, but we have to run. We're gonna have to take up the west side and finish up this map tour on a second part. Hope you guys don't mind. Hope you've enjoyed what you've been seeing so far. Hope it's been educational. Hope it's making you feel like a Wellander. If you've liked it, please hit that bell button, subscribe, turn on your notifications. But right now, Ellen and I have to run. We are doing a booth at the Worship in the Wild, which is in Ridgeville. Sorry, not Ridgeville, Ridgeway, just on the outskirts of Welland and Port Colborne. It's a weekend festival of great music, worship music to be exact, again put together by a number of different area churches, and we have a booth there and we got to go set up. So I have to take this on a second part, but don't worry, I will still take you to today's gem. So hang on for a second, grab yourself a coffee or tea, and I'll meet you over at today's local gem.
Here I am at the corner of West Main Street and Prince Charles Drive here in Welland. I'm going to introduce you to today's local gem. Right there behind me. I told you, if you didn't know that it existed, you might just miss it. Why? Because it looks like a food truck. But this is a permanent food truck. The Mexican Taco Zone, best tacos, best Mexican food here in Welland. I'm going to go in there, order myself a lunch, and then we'll come back and wrap up today's video. So let's go check out Mexican Taco Zone. Here we are at inside the Mexican Taco Zone. It makes me feel like I'm on the streets in Mexico. It's street food, excellent, and really makes me feel like I'm all the way back into my days when I was in Mexico City, stopping off in the streets and getting tacos al pastor, una jarrito, and of course, oh my goodness, I forget what they're called. Churros. Thank you very much, honey. Churros. Can you believe it? I forgot. I'll finish them after I say goodbye to you guys. So that's today's video. Thanks a lot for stopping by, checking it out. And as I said before, we'll have to do the second part of our Welland map tour later on. But so for now, thanks a lot for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was educational. Hope you learned a lot about life in Welland, and you'll come back to our next video. And so until next time, stay in peace and bloom where you're planted. Taco al pastor. Mm.